Welcome to In the Kink of Things. I had the slot this morning to talking about kink. There is a big taboo, at least that's how I feel, around kink, sensuality, sexuality, even incorporating spirituality into your sexual being. I mean, there is Kundalini and Tantra and those other areas where it is included, but in overall, just the esoteric, the spiritual, the energy world, it doesn't really get addressed. It doesn't really get talked about. It's separate thing. It's almost like everybody knows about it, but unless you specifically go looking for that, it's not part of the discussion. It's not part of something that you necessarily try and figure out with your partner, with friends, with your family. Um, most parents and kids barely have to talk about the birds and the bees. I think that's what you call it in English. Um, let alone expanding into other areas. I remember when my older sister, and we were both adults at the time, asked me that my younger sister, who I talked to about it, had told her that I was interested in kink in those areas. And she asked me because she wanted to learn, she wanted to explore it. And she said, I would have never guessed that that was something you were interested in. So there's a lot of hidden depths to people on the subject because we don't talk about it. We're not open about it. And, there has been a really good reason because it has been stigmatized. Like anything that is different from the average norm gets stigmatized because it is different, because it is out of the norm, because it is unusual and doesn't fit into line. Any subject you can think about, even spirituality, being out of the norm of the church doctrine was hidden. All these mystery schools about the inner workings, the esoteric life, had all been hidden for various reasons, going deeper into sexuality, gender identity, all been hidden. I know I didn't express my gender feelings, how I resonated within myself for the longest time. And when the whole pronoun movement came out, I was actually very angry with that movement because I didn't want to tell people how I really felt about myself. So in a way, it forced me to have to think about my gender identity. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to ignore how I felt inside. I was just pretending to be a person. And I didn't want to dig deep into how I feel about myself and my body and my sexuality and my gender. So, it's understandable that we don't always want to dig and understand and know who we are or what or why, or try and understand our desires. But part of that is because there's the stigma. I didn't want to talk about my ESP experiences, being able to sense things, being able to see things, being able to tune into other people and work on their energy fields. I didn't want to share that with people because from what I'd seen, no one talked about it. And all the things that I had mirrored to me was that that was taboo. That was not something you did. That was not something that was done. That was something that you end up going in a straitjacket and being locked up for. And times have changed, gladly. Very happily, times have changed, and we are able to talk about things like this more and more. I mean, even now, I'm not thinking about the words. I'm allowing them come through. I'm channeling them from wherever they're coming from. I don't know, because they're not coming from my mind. I'm not thinking about it. I am just talking and I'm allowing them to flow. And that can be quite scary because I'm not censoring what I'm saying. I'm letting it out. And I don't always know where that's going to go. I didn't think I was going to talk about my energetic skills. You know, it's where we're going to go. It's kinky. It's everywhere. Not in a straight line, that's for sure. But I digress. And I did lose my train of flow. But yeah, this is also very hard for me to share because I am giving you almost everything. Like, I am sharing with you things I haven't told anybody. I haven't sometimes even allowed myself to see, because it is a deep craving that I didn't think I could have. I didn't think I would be accepted by people around me if I shared that I enjoy heavy sensations. I enjoy being tied up. I enjoy being restrained in the right context. You know, if you're gonna just grab me off the street, tie me up, and throw me in the boot of a car, probably not gonna enjoy that very much. But if it's with a person I love, including with just myself, you know, and I'm into a certain energetic, loving mood, and I want to go into that area, I would enjoy that very, very much. But it's all set in setting and context. It's like people talk about, you know, I had wasn't quite a boyfriend, but we did have sex, so a friend with benefits, I'm gonna call it. And he was adamant that I was a masochist, which is basically somebody who enjoys pain for pain's sakes. And while there was a situation where I received pain accidentally and then was turned on more, but at the time we were already having sex and I was already in that state of sexual arousal. So that extra stimulus increased my sexual arousal stimulus and brought me to a different space. But that same pain level, just on its own, very likely would just have been painful and made me cry. So we also make assumptions, or other people make assumptions about us that may or may not be true. And this is why, you know, I really felt compelled to share and talk about this, because this is gonna make me cry. I felt really alone in this journey for a very long time. I still sometimes feel very alone. There's not that many people I can talk to about this. I mean, I've had some amazing people in my life that were in the kink world, but you know, those relationships have fallen apart or we've parted ways for various reasons. I had an amazing teacher who first got me to understand the toys and taught me about rope play. I mean, I already knew not some things, but how to apply it to a human body and a space to, and a person to explore things with. And that was amazingly helpful, and I'm forever grateful for that person. But we ended up having to part ways because I was growing in ways that they couldn't then follow, because I wanted to expand not just from the physical level but also into the energetic, into the spiritual, and combine the skills of kink with the energetics and the spiritual. And they were not in a space in their life where they could even understand that. And I've had a comment on my other channel the other day on my ceremony 111 channel, where I talk about my spiritual journey and I share meditations and other things. And someone said, I don't understand what you're talking about. And I'm like, that's okay. This is like talking about surgery when you may only understand about your general health and well-being, even that, this is a specialty subject that not everybody's going to get. Just like talking about kink is a specialty subject that not everybody's going to get. And that's okay. This is not for everybody, but this is for the few who are curious, who want to learn more, who want to feel like there's others like them out there. And there are lots of others like us out there who are interested in exploring, playing, just doing something different. Even if you just try something and it's like, no, this is not for me, you've tried it, you've explored it, and that is amazing. There's so much just with sensation play. Basically everything's sensation play, except the mind games, which can be fun. We'll have to talk about that in a separate podcast, I think. It's just the level of sensation. There's a whole spectrum, I think of, and I think it goes full circle. It's kind of like, when you feel something really, really hot, eventually it feels like it's really, really cold, or something really, really cold can feel really hot. Kind of goes in a spectrum. And the same is with sensation play. It's just barely there soft. I mean, I even go a step further, and it's not even physical touch, it's touching auras, touching your energy field to each other. That when you're sensitive, or trained to be that sensitive, you can even work on that level with somebody and play sensation level that way. And then it's like just barely touching, and then further and further and further till you're like really hardcore, where it's almost an sensation overload. And it goes all the way around to where it's so much sensation that it's almost overloading. That's like your body puts it into the next row, where you go back to feeling just through the aura. That's my experience. That's my way of describing it. It may be different for somebody else, but I encourage anybody to explore what they may wish to play with. And then, like I mentioned earlier, there's different times where things are received differently. When you're in your head trying to figure out your budget or what bills you need to pay, you're not necessarily gonna want someone to come in and start messing with your field or distracting you with like sensations on various parts of your body, because you got something to do. This would be very distracting. But when you're in an experience where you're already going into the body, where you're feeling your sensuality, your sexuality, whether it's with a partner or with yourself, or multiple partners, who knows, then that is adding to the experience. And I hope that difference is clear, that it's not necessarily what you do, but how you do things and in what context you do things. Because we all deserve to have the best, wonderful, expansive experiences in our lives. And it's not something we have to earn or be worthy of. Just being human, we get to have experiences that we choose to have. Sometimes we just have to do some exploration and figure out, is this actually something I want to do? Be curious. And if you're telling me, yeah, but Sarah, I'm by myself, I don't have anybody, I'm single, or my partner's absolutely not interested in this stuff, I'm like, no, you have you. If you need to start with a mirror, if you need to start with touching yourself, read books, watch videos like this. There are actually quite a few people out there talking about these things. Go to conferences. I know here in Canada, they started a conference in Ottawa last year, and they're doing it again, all about talking about sex and kink and gender identity and a whole bunch of stuff. There's more and more out there. There's sex shops who have talks, who are knowledgeable about things, and if just to broaden your horizon, go to a sex shop and see what they have. You don't have to buy anything. Just like, there's so many forms of dildos, toys, even some of the kink toys. Careful about buying things on a sex shop for kink toys. A lot of them are really low quality. Well, I think I'll make a how to play with toys videos just from your household, so you don't have to go spend a whole bunch of money to try something out. When you do love something, then save up and buy it from a craftsman if you can. Make it yourself. Find something that you love and then spend the money on it. Don't try and spend money on things just because you think you should. But that's just an aside. Like, talk to yourself first. Have a conversation, record it. Don't need to share it. I always find it helpful to actually hit record, because when I'm in this flow, I'm not actually registering necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm not thinking about it, so it doesn't get logged in the files. I'm talking and letting it flow. So you can record it, you can voice record it, you can just talk to yourself, talk to, some people call it, talk to a pillow, talk to something that represents you. That's why I like a mirror, because you can see yourself, or recording like a video like this. Put the camera so that you can actually see the picture on your iPhone if you have it, a smartphone. Most video cameras have that flip screen nowadays, so you can still see what you're recording. But really what I'm trying to say is, give yourself permission to explore. Give yourself permission to have that conversation. Give yourself permission to share with yourself. And don't think about it, just talk. Because when you just talk, it gives you the opportunity to allow things to come up that you may not even have thought about, that you were interested, or is a problem in your life, or is something that is holding you back. I had a conversation with myself the other day, and this huge internal block came up for myself of this thought that I wasn't worthy of having a loving relationship. And once that came, that shocked me, because I'm like, how is that true? How am I like, how am I not like, I'm a human being. I am made of love. Like, everything is love. How am I not worthy of giving and receiving that love in a relationship? And I was able to talk through it with with myself to get more clarity, and then with my partner. And things came up that I had realized I was holding some form of resentment around something. And this is why partially I felt I wasn't worthy, because I wasn't giving. So I wasn't worthy of receiving, because I was holding this block, this resentment that was between us. And this is why it's important, if you want to be. You don't have to do any of this stuff, but I'm just sharing my life so that if something resonates, you might take it and use it in yours. But for me, I'm realizing more and more how important it is to be honest with myself, to truly embrace who I am. Someone pointed out that mine and other people's greatest fears is probably not living the life we're here for. And that rang so true. I know I am meant to expand, explore, and help others expand and explore. And I was always stuck on, it has to look a certain way. It has to be on a safe subject. I can't just share about sex and kink and spirituality and how I bring that all together in my life, how I want to show up and be an artist with my body, with my life, with my expression, with my kink. Because in my mind, that wasn't safe. That was taboo. That was not something I was allowed to have. I wasn't allowed to be ecstatically happy about what I did. And that is one of the things I am breaking the paradigm around. Because I've seen other people show up, not a lot, but a few, show up and do these things and talk about it and share and express themselves. And this is one of the reasons why I am going past my fears. I'm scared of sharing these things. I'm scared of opening myself up this much, and I'm giving you guys everything. I'm not giving you guys, play-by-play details, because that's a confidentiality issue with my partners, but I'm sharing my side of the story as much as I remember, and as much as I can share, and as I'm guided to share, and as much as I'm, my nervous system is able to handle me to share. And I feel like as I continue to share with you guys and bring more of this story through, that I will expand and grow within myself as well. So thank you for being here and listening and holding space with me and sharing. And I just hope that this will resonate and inspire and help somebody in their journey. Because that's one of the things I love the most in my life, is to empower people to be more themselves. And I want that for myself as well. I want this to be my empowerment of my journey. And I think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be more than I can ever think about right now, even. And I'm looking forward to sharing more with you guys, going further, exploring, bringing people on to talk about things with. We'll see when that happens. And yeah, just loving life, all aspects of it. The the beautiful, grandiose stuff, the tiny things, the rough stuff, the hard emotions, the beautiful, ecstatic, like all of it is part of this journey. And I don't want to sugarcoat it. Some things can feel hard, can feel challenging, but it's even harder when we deny ourselves, when we put on these masks and these virtual straitjackets of I can't go and talk about these things, where we muffle ourselves and we restrain ourselves because we don't think we can be ourselves. So in a way, most of my life I was afraid of other people putting me in a straitjacket, when in reality my mind had put me in a straitjacket and my fears had put me in a straitjacket. And it's time to take that off. It's time to release those bonds that aren't serving me and to embrace the ones that are. And I think with that, I'm going to go have an amazing day. And I wish you all an amazing day. And looking forward to talking to you guys next time. Love y'all. Bye for now.